Hi, welcome back to our lecture video. So for the last topic, we now have the units and measurements. So measurements are important to us in order for us to quantify physical quantities such as we have length, time, mass, and others. Our unit of measurements are based on some standards. So we have two systems that are recognized. We have the SI units and the English units. By the way, I am encouraging everyone to please familiarize yourselves with this, especially in our field as or for you as a future engineer. We, especially in engineering, we are dealing most of the time in measuring some things, some amount of stuff, and so on. So it is important to measure certain things, right? Like we measure the distance, the time, and the forces involved. We also use this measurement for us to design efficiently and to convey our design in effective. Not only in engineering aspect, but we also encountered testing in our daily life, diba? Like for example, in our daily routine, we measure our baon, how much money you have left, how much water you need to put in rice when you are cooking or nagsasayang. We also sometimes measure time, such as how much time do we need in order for us to finish your certain module, your certain assignment, and how much time you need to allot in watching K-dramas and such things like that. While in engineering, sometimes, example, need to measure the force needed in order for us to lift a certain object, to push a certain object, or to cut a certain material. Or sometimes what is the stress developed in the object when you applied a certain pressure, a certain force on that object or on that material. And even in, like for example, in irrigation, how much volume of water do you need to irrigate a certain field? Or how much time do you need to allot to finish the job? Or sometimes we need to determine how many kilograms of fertilizer you need to apply on certain plant for their growth and something like that. And many more applications. You don't need to memorize all these quantities and all these measurements, but at least familiarize yourselves so that when there is a time that you need to use this certain quantity, then you can use it correctly and somehow know how to handle these measurements or units of measurements. And like what I have said, we have two recognized systems, which is the SI units and the IP or the English units. The SI units or the International System of Units is abbreviated after the French word Système International de Units. Don't know if I pronounce it correctly. But anyway, it is a modern version of metric system which has received and recognized worldwide. So this table here shows the different quantities that can be encountered, particularly here in our subject in engineering mechanics. So this quantity here is expressed in SI units. For example, we have the acceleration. So the metric unit for acceleration is in terms of meter per second squared, or as you can see here in the formula, we have m per s squared, and so on and so forth. So let us be familiarized that the metric unit of these quantities are usually in terms of meters, in terms of kilogram, watts, pascals, joules, newton, and rad, and so on. So, While for our English unit, uh, we have units like foot or feet, inches, kips, pounds, pound force, pound mass, gallons, what else, tons, horsepower, and others. One good thing about these units or these measurements is that it can be converted, or we can know its equivalent values from uh, one system to another. Like for example, the unit length. If it is in terms of foot in English unit, then we have this as equivalent or the conversion factor so that we can convert the feet into um, metric unit in terms of meter. So the conversion factor here is 1 foot is equal to 0.3048 meter. But for me, I am not familiar with that value, but instead, I am more familiar with the conversion factor that um, uh, 1 meter is equal to 3.28 feet. So it's up to you which conversion factor you are familiar with. As long as you can convert it from one system to another, there's no problem with that. I think that's it for today. See you on the next video for the sample computation or sample conversion. Thank you.